Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love this one. This is one of my favorites. With all the absolute garbage being strewn around by Adam Schiff and the left, don't you wish the Democrats would start using glue sticks instead of lip balm? I love it. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot. Come on, patriots. Be proud in this great country. Pledge of Allegiance time. And a good morning to you out there in Radio Land. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a really big fall tire sale going on right now. Stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And don't forget Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you go, Lorna Doone. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thank you.
And you have a wonderful day, and everyone else, too.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Very, very, very nice lady right there. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Hello, Roger. How you doing over there with the rest of the crew opening the doors early in the morning at 7 a.m. with the rental of the best tools and equipment you need to finish any kind of a project? I urge you to get a hold of them. And believe me, they've got all the tools and equipment for both long and short-term rental. Call them. Find out more. 678-3122, K&R Rental. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this first official day of October, and it's going to be a little bit chilly in the morning. Maybe some patchy freezing fog before noon. However, we are expecting mostly sunny skies and a high of 52 for tonight. Mostly clear skies. Going to get cold again with a low of around 27. Tomorrow, sunny and with a high of 55. Expecting an overnight low of 30 by Thursday. More sunshine. Going to be the warmest day of the week so far. Expecting a high of 63. Then by Friday, mostly sunny, mid-50s. That's a look at your weather forecast for 7 Grand.
Oh, Gina, thank you. She does a very comprehensive weather forecast for us, and we appreciate it. And it's brought to you by K&R Rental. They're right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. I urge you right now, call them if you got questions for any tools you need to finish a project. Maybe you're still putting in some lawn sprinklers for next year, water lines, whatever. Hey, get a hold of them today. K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway, 678-3122. Don't forget that Thursday is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Who was I talking to yesterday about the Burley Livestock Sale Yard? I got to think for a minute. I know who it was. I ran into a very nice man, Bill Tattersall. Bill, good morning to you. You were talking about it, and we had a nice little visit. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-9411 for cattle consignments and sale information. The sale that does work for you. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, Thursday sale day at 11 o'clock. Don't you miss it. We have got a really, like Ed Sullivan used to say, remember that? We got a really big shoe today. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got Dan Kish talking about the stupidity and the costly green energy. Sounds like we're going to talk about Idaho Power. We might. And then, of course, Pacific Legal Foundation attorney Daniel Ortner. And then Dr. History is going to be here. And then we've got Raynard Jackson. And Raynard is going to be talking about the hypocrisy of the NAACP. So all that's coming up for today. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at Daryl's Cleaners. Oh, they do the job. Let me tell you, I've been going in there with my Wranglers and my sports shirts and my sports jackets and everything for a long time. And I guarantee you, when I take those in there, after being at rodeos and speaking events and everything all over the country, they're a little bit more than rumply-crumply, but they do such a tremendous job of restoring them and making them look brand spanking new. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. I urge you to stop in and see these good folks today. And by the way, they'll do your washing for you, too. Wash, dry, fold, and iron all your clothes, just like Mommy used to do at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Really nice people. We have a call, and I'm going to ask the caller to indulge me 30 seconds more because I also want to mention about my friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They also get there really early in the morning at 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, and literally with all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. I urge you to get a hold of them. I urge you to talk to them. I urge you to stop in and make sure you got clean air filters for your furnace. Gonna get cooler. They're, like I said, open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. The number to call, 678-0459, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you too, Zeb. You know, Donald Trump, as a businessman before he was elected, used to pick people that worked for him that he could trust and were honest and faithful. Now, when he became president, he made the mistake of keeping some of these holdovers from the Obama administration. And this will come back to bite him, because you can have a pet rattlesnake that does you a very fine job of entertaining you, but eventually he's going to bite you.
I think your analogy is one that I don't like at all because I'm scared to death of snakes. I wouldn't have one around as a pet. I will say this, and I mean this. Your point is well taken. There are many people that work for government. There are many people that are privy to certain things and figures and statements, etc., that people are trusting them to keep their mouth shut. And I adhere to the old cowboy principle that when you work for somebody, you ride for the brand. In other words, you serve your employer and you're loyal to your employer. Somebody is a snake back there, or a group of somebody's are snakes, and they need to be weeded out and thrown away.
Yeah, and they better do it soon, because they're going to bite you.
Well, Keith, it's already happened. I mean, going to bite you is not appropriate. I mean, it's past tense. We're looking at this mess of not being able to trust people, and it started all the way back in 2016, and now it's being amplified with all the problems right now. And so, yeah, I'll go along with your analogy. There's a bunch of snakes in this administration that are not riding for the brand, and they're out trying to hurt Trump and this administration all they can.
You're absolutely right, and That's my analogy, and you have a good morning.
And you stick to it, old buddy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, could you just tweak up the feed line to me just a skosh, just a little bit? I'd appreciate it. I want to talk to everybody about Denny's Restaurant. And they're located at 611 North Overland in Burley. Oh, you like breakfast like I do. I love breakfast. I can eat breakfast every time of the day it's time for a meal. They've got those strawberry crepe breakfasts for breakfast, and along with the hash browns and eggs. What a delicious breakfast. And then they've got so many great choices for lunch and dinner and all the desserts. Oh, you're going to love it. Take your family, take your friends, take your relatives, have one of the relatives by. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. It is so true. They are America's diner, and really, really, really nice people serving you, too, at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Stop in. See them today. Oh, and by the way, before we get rolling here this morning, I also want to acknowledge Dr. Bill over at Ark Animal Hospital. Absolutely. Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they take care of them all. You, as the pet and animal owner, you want to make sure your animals stay healthy, and so therefore I urge you to write this number down, and if you have problems, you give them a call, 678-1177. I'll repeat that, 678-1177, Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And really, it's true. They have warm hearts for cold noses. Don't forget, healthy animals, you deserve that. They deserve it. Ark Animal Hospital, 678-1177. All right, I'm going to get right into this. I heard some people the other day. They were visiting. I couldn't help but overhear the conversation. And they were talking about they didn't know which way to go next year in the election. And I clenched my fists and I bit my lip and I didn't say anything. And I thought, this is the problem today, that people don't understand or have no knowledge of what the Democratic Party stands for. And I just made a little list of about 12 or 13 items. And I'm sure that you could add to it out there in the audience. But I'm going to go through a partial list of their platform and their heinous activities and what they support that I call evil. And then I don't think there's much chance that you'd ever want to vote for the Democratic Party. They want to stack or change the Supreme Court and the structure of the Supreme Court. In other words, they want to stack and change things for their benefit. They want felons to be allowed to vote. Yeah, that's right. They want felons that are in prison to be allowed to vote. I can still remember that stupid speech by Bernie Sanders. Then on the other side of the spectrum, they want 16-year-olds to have the right to vote. Let me tell you something. I don't think, and I'm not being derogatory towards anyone's son or daughter, but I doubt seriously if there's a 16-year-old in the audience. If there is, they're a rarity. They're a gem in the rough that has any understanding of what's going on politically. They want Medicare for all, and they want all of us to pay for it. They believe in green energy, stop all fossil fuel usage, when at this current time we are the world's energy leader. Why in the world would we want to regress with this stupidity? They want forgiveness of medical debt. Oh, woe is me. I was in the hospital and I just couldn't afford to pay it. Well, let me tell you something. If we do that with everyone that qualifies under this Forgiveness Act, there go your taxes. They believe in socialism against capitalism. They want to ban our guns and take away the Second Amendment. They want open borders, and they want it just a free-for-all. Come on in. Come on in. Live on the American taxpayer. Matter of fact, just live in his front yard. They want to change or destroy our Constitution, the greatest Constitution ever written for any country ever in the history of this world. They support transgender men being involved in girls' athletics. And this is one topic that we're really going to highlight in the next couple of days. I find this so evil and so sinister. All mothers and fathers should be absolutely outraged over this. They want us to stop eating meat. They want to absolutely crucify and kill the meat industry in this country. And, of course, they want to excuse college fees and tuitions and all that. Oh, you're in debt because you went to school for 4 years and you were learning basket weaving, and now you want to pass the bill to somebody else. Okay, that's fine. They want to stop the electoral college, something that our forefathers knew and understood gave a fairness and an equity and an equal voice to the smaller states with less population. And they also, and this is the one of all of them that just makes me furious, they support full-term abortion. Now go ahead. Tell me about all the virtues of the Democratic Party. I can't find any. And I certainly can't find anybody running for the presidency that has any virtues or any additions on the plus side to this platform of idiocy. Call me. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Somebody said to me yesterday, I was on a phone call with a friend, they said, aren't you concerned that you're kind of ruffling the feathers? And I said, no, I just as soon ruffle the feathers till they fell off, the Democrats. I have no use for what they support. Hey, by the way, let your house welcome you home with the perfect temperature. The iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox features remote control access, so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. I like this. And you can find out more about it if you contact Ramsey Heating and Electric. Along with Lennox, they are offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. So get comfy. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Caller, I'll be right there. Bear with me just about another 30 seconds because I want to tell everybody about a really, really nice place. And I've been there many, many times, and I've had them do work for me. And that's friends over at Mad River Laser at 502 East Street in Rupert. Listen to me carefully, every first Saturday of every month they're going to have a special sale. And this Saturday, October 5th, the first Saturday in October, is going to kick things off. A great big gift shop sale. All the fall decor will be marked down, and that includes their Halloween and Thanksgiving home decor. And the final week for pre-Christmas sale. Get your embroider orders in now. Oh, Nicole and the rest of the people. These are good people over at Mad River Laser. Proudly voted Best Unique Gift Shop 3 years running, 2017 to this year. Wow! 502 East Street in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. I don't think we could have found anybody that could set it better than you did. You covered basically everything. Maybe you should make a pamphlet with all of these issues on it and then give one to everybody in the United States.
Okay, and I certainly hope and assume that you're not going to tell me to absorb all the printing costs.
Talk about that.
You know, I wasn't trying to be snide to the Democrats, even though they deserve it, but there are many more items that could be incorporated onto that list. They are, to me, a very evil party that cannot be trusted for our values that we were born and raised with in this United States.
I think you said it all, and you have a good day.
All right, sir. God bless you. Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go for it. Thanks.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
There's one other little thing that's stuck in my craw about the Democratic Party. How would you like to take $1,000 out of your wallet and overnight put $100,000 into your wallet? Now, if the Democrats ever got in, we would get Hillary Clinton back in there, and she's one of the biggest crooks that Democratic Party has ever had. And who needs Hillary Clinton back in office again?
Well, first of all, let's go back to a sense of reality. I doubt seriously if you're going to open up my billfold and find $1,000. So let's be real here, okay? But I'm going to tell you that I'm really concerned over the last couple of days. And when I talked to my good friend yesterday in D.C. on the air, Rick Manning, he also is a little concerned and scratching his head, quizzically trying to figure out what in the world is Hillary trying to do? Is she trying to make a resurgence? Is she trying to jump in knowing that Joe Biden is in deep water over his head right now? Does she think she's smarter and more capable of garnering the vote over Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders? I don't know. This woman is the Wicked Witch of the West as far as I'm concerned. I have no trust in what she's going to do, and anything she does do is going to be against us.
Well, the Democratic Party, from what I'm seeing right now, the skeletons are coming out of their closets. And they're in a desperate way, and I really don't think we're going to have much of a problem defeating them. They're going to try all the dirty tricks they could possibly get to win this election, but it's not going to happen because Donald Trump is not going to cave in to this bunch.
No, I disagree with you, Tony, and I'm saying this out of the deepest respect for you. I think if we take an attitude right now, about 14 months away from the election, of it's going to be a landslide, Trump's going to win, that's going to hurt us. I think that's going to come back and bite us. I think we need to be more diligent than ever to go talk to our friends and neighbors about why they should vote for Trump's reelection, why they can't trust the Democrats, in accord with what that list was I gave a little bit ago. I think if we don't, we're going to see so many illegalities, we're going to see so many under-the-table deals going into this next election. We've got to be prepared for it more so than ever before.
Oh, absolutely. All you have to do is look at what's going on in Hong Kong. Look what's happening in L.A. now with people laying out in the streets. I mean, it's a good thing we've got television to show what the people in this country, the voters, what's going on in our country. We can't afford to have this country flooded with foreigners that are coming in here, and especially when we've got all these mechanical devices going to take the place of human beings. I mean, the voters have got to see this.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No, I'm not opposed to anything you said this morning, but I tell you what, I do reserve the right to criticize a little bit on. I think we need to be more diligent, we need to be more watchful, and we need to do more, because I do not trust any of the Democrats. I do not trust any of the big money behind them. I will come right out and say it this morning. They will use any illegal tactic to win this next election, and we've got to watch the bad guys.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm on your side about all of that stuff. But anyhow, I hope the man upstairs is watching what's going on and shines a light on the voters.
He always does. Thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate it.
Okay.
God bless you, man. Thanks. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Honestly, and I'm not exaggerating, I don't think, that I have never seen a political party act like they're all infected with rabies. They're acting like rabid dogs. They're salivating at the mouth, and they're going out and biting anything they can, and they're going out and trying to do everything they can right now in a last-ditch effort to get rid of a president that they've hated since the get-go. They've hated since he won in 2016. They hate that they lost. They can't stand that they lost, and they're going to go out like rabid dogs and lie, cheat, steal, do everything they can to win back what they consider to be their property in 2020. You know, there was a comment made this morning, earlier on television, about 4:25, 4:30 this morning, and I really agree with this man that made the comment. He said, today Adam Schiff and the Democrats are incensed with going through conversations maybe with Australia and maybe with other countries and going through and perusing everything and absolutely trying to denigrate and highlight and say, well, he shouldn't have said that, he shouldn't have said that. Wait a minute. We're missing a point here, folksies. Let's go back to all the under-the-table conversations with Obama and John Kerry and Joe Biden when they set up the Iranian deal. Oh, no, we can't hardly talk about that. Why, that's a Democrat. Why, that was Obama. Hope and change. And along with the Iranian deal and conversations that we never heard or read about, let's talk a little bit about old Barack, and I'll have a little bit more flexibility when the election's over, as he wanted that message back to good old Vladimir Putin. I am fed up to the gills, if I were a fish, as to the hypocrisy and the one-way attitude the Democrats see these problems. I detested Barack Obama. I didn't like anything that he stood for or stood against. I didn't like anything about the man. Absolutely found him to be repulsive. Had nothing to do with race. It was his political stupidity. And now there's even talk that maybe they've got a special grooming session going on, possibly, to throw Michelle Obama into the fray. Oh, yeah. But let's be a little real here. Adam Schiff and the rest of these rabid dogs are going after Trump and all of his conversations and subpoenaing all this information, et cetera, et cetera. I want the Republicans to grow a backbone and say, oh, okay, all right, cool, no problem. What about the investment of all that money going to Iran? What about the conversations leading up to that? What about all the conversations with Putin? I'll have more flexibility after I get elected. But this is just a hate Trump, get rid of Trump movement. That's all it is. That's all it is. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Well, I hope I got the Democrats all riled up. Need more deodorant. That'd be great. Berry Equipment and Rental. 3 locations to serve you with the best of sales, service, and parts. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley and 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the Nampa location. Oh, they've got all the equipment for the tough jobs of lifting, digging, pushing, and carrying, and grading, and leveling. Oh, boy. They've got the big dudes, I'll tell you. All the Doosan loaders and excavators, all the sizes of the different Bobcats and everything. What are you waiting for? Don't put it off. They've got excellent financing programs, great rental programs at Berry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. You stop in and see those good folks today. Really, really good people. Caller, I'll be right there. I've got to tell everybody once again about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Tell you what, they've got the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat that lets you control your home's temperature from anywhere you are, any place. I'll tell you, you better get a hold of Ramsey Heating and Electric today, along with Lennox, offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Keep comfy, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Call them, 678-0459, or visit them online at ramseysonline.com, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. The thing that bothered me so much about the Obamas is apparently he was some kind of attorney or scholar, but he didn't know his head from his butt, and he didn't know anything about our Constitution. Probably didn't know a whole lot, didn't act like he knew a whole lot about our history and why the laws that were on the books were on the books. And Trump, he is going out there and trying to drain the swamp, what he promised he would do. He promised he would do that. He's trying really hard. and I'm with you on this, and this goes to every Republican senator, statesman, whatever that's been elected. You've been put on notice by the public. You haven't lifted a daggum finger to help our president, one that we really, really, really need to help us get back up on top.
You know, whether...
Come around. Don't be bothering asking for my vote if you ain't going to at least try to do something.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Okay, Riley, but I appreciate what you said, and you said a lot in a very brief span of time. I don't care if it's state politics. I don't care if it's national politics. I am sick and tired of people worrying more about being reelected than they are serving their constituents. Now let that soak in for a minute. And maybe you know politicians like that. Maybe you are aware of circumstances like that. It's becoming more obvious every day. Oh boy, you get back to Washington, cushy, great big leather chair, all the comforts and amenities and everything. Why, you've got to get reelected. As a matter of fact, that even came out yesterday when we were talking to Rick Manning. That is the kind of a mantra for these people that are newcomers. Now listen. If you want to go along to get along, you better vote this way, or you better say this, or you're not going to get this special committee, or you're not going to be getting a special TV deal to where you'll be on the air every day so that people can see you back home and go, oh boy, is he doing a good job? I don't want any politician, whether it's the local dog catcher, to be in office if they're going to just use it very, very possibly and prominently for their own gain. Get rid of them. They are working for us, not the other way around. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. Well, the whole bottom line is the reason Trump is hated so much is that he has thrown a monkey wrench into the globalist plan to make us a one-world government. And if Hillary gotten elected, you can imagine the skids were greased with Obama, and he's a Muslim regardless. He's certainly not a Christian. You just look at he loved the Muslim prayers and so forth, but Trump has thrown a monkey wrench, and they know it. And so this is why they hate him so much, because they wanted their new world order, these elitists, these globalists, and some of those same people want this USMCA trade agreement. And the head of the Council on Foreign Relations said it's napped on steroids. Well, unfortunately, they've thrown in some stuff that's very inviting for farmers and ranchers, but we give up our sovereignty, create a regional government in the process. It needs to be stopped. And trade, Governor Little went over to, Japan, and I think it was, and that's the way trade should be done. Otter did the same thing. You can trade our potatoes for whatever they've got in exchange, but these big international trade deals are bad, and NAFTA's proven that, and so will this next new one. But Trump is, he's a rogue in the sense that he defies all of the political pundits. You can't do what he's been doing, but he's been doing it, and nobody could stand the pressure that has been put on him since before he was elected. And I don't know about you, Zeb, but you can imagine if Hillary gotten in there, we would have the Supreme Court packed with liberals. Bader Ginsburg would have resigned and put in another young liberal, and we would have gun control from the bench. And Trump has saved us in that regard. But it looks to me like, and you probably have already talked about this, we're looking at civil war in this country if they could proceed on this impeachment deal. And I think it's the Democrats are really making a big mistake. And, of course, we got the liberal media is totally in the tank for destroying this country and this economy.
I agree with you, Adrian, and I thank you for your comments like I always do, and I appreciate your call. I got another one waiting in a moment. I got a commercial, so thank you very, very much. Appreciate that.
Well, we need to support Trump and pray for him because, believe me, I'm surprised he's still alive.
Well,
I think his own security forces probably helped, but I bet he knows that you don't depend on the Secret Service, because I think it was the Secret Service that took out Kennedy, and from what I know about that situation. Anyway, have a great day.
All right, I'm not going to speculate on anything. Like I said, I deal in hard, cold facts, and I know there's been speculation over the many, many years since the shooting of President Kennedy and some of the stories and rumors and innuendos, and I do not know what the situation is with the security people with Donald Trump. But all I said earlier, and we've got a little feedback right there, Wheels. I think the phone line's still open, but all I said earlier, and I maintain, is that you cannot, and Keith brought it up, you cannot have snakes in your administration that are going against you and what you're standing up for. And you got to ride for the brand. You got to ride for the brand.
It's obvious somebody who's close to Trump right in that security deal is leaking stuff out. He's got enemy right in the Oval Office or wherever they meet.
I appreciate it. I got to run. I got to get a commercial in.
Get rid of those guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Want to remind you quickly about Dino Septic Service, septic tank pumping, and of course liquid waste removal. And they do at Dino Septic Service the job that no, you don't want to do it. You don't want to spend time standing out there going, oh, hope this hurry up and empties and the smell and everything. Oh my! But they do it, and they do it with a smile on their face. They are outstanding with backhoe services, water and sewer lines installed, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, septic inspections, all of this and more at Dino Septic Service. Call them 436-6526 or 678-1638. Fast, fair, friendly service serving you with a big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service. Every day, and it's not going to change even from some of the dolts, and they are dolts, that have called or written emails and said, get rid of doing the Pledge of Allegiance every day on your program. No, it's not going to happen. Please understand. You are not going to cow me or threaten me into getting rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. Not going to happen. So you're wasting a lot of your time and mental anguish on something you are not going to control. I'm saying that because I've been threatened, oh, quit saying that Pledge of Allegiance. We all don't agree with it. I've had that come up. Well, it's not going to change. And this program will have the Pledge of Allegiance as the very first thing on this show. But what sickens me, no, it doesn't sicken me. It just makes me mad as to the stupidity of college students. These are punks that haven't been out in the real world. And I know you're offended by me calling them punks, but these people are punks. The University of Oklahoma student government recently voted to remove the Pledge of Allegiance from its agenda. Why? Because some young upstart said, well, it was written on the anniversary of Columbus Day in 1892, so we can't do the pledge. And the governing body at the University of Oklahoma said that the town in which OU is located does not celebrate Columbus Day, but celebrates Indigenous Peoples Day, so that's what we're going to have, and we're not going to do the pledge. There are words I want to use so bad in regard to this story, but it would be the last day on this program. I am infuriated as to the stupidity of younger people that don't know Khmer from Sikkim when it comes to the blood, the sweat, and the tears, and the lives that went into this country, the United States of America, so that these young dolts could sit there and criticize our Pledge of Allegiance and cancel it. Caller, you're on the air. You better calm me down.
Well, I'll try. But this is a product of what you get when the government controls what you teach the children. When you teach the children, don't teach them true history. Exactly what happened, like the Civil War it was a civil war, but it wasn't the North and South, it was a Republican versus Democrat. So when you start teaching true history again, then these kids that are coming up will believe in this country because this country has made the world better. This country is the only country that has sacrificed so much for the world without reaping the benefits for its self-gain. It didn't take Germany and those guys when it went over and overthrew Hitler. It didn't take Germany under its deal and take all their commodities and enrich America. In fact, we helped rebuild Germany. So,
well, we did the same thing with Japan, and we've done the same thing with every nation that we've been in battle with, and you can go right back to Vietnam and the surrounding area. I am sick and tired of kids that don't know, like I said a minute ago, and I'll stand behind these words, come here from Sikkim when it comes to what's going on in the real world, how to support themselves, how to raise a family, how to pay their taxes, how to meet their bill obligations, and they sit there and they say, oh, well, we can't do the Pledge of Allegiance. This tees me off.
Well, if you can't pledge allegiance to America, then find a country that you agree with and live there and pledge allegiance to that country.
Amen. I've got money in a little kitty right here, and I know that you'll help. We'll buy the plane ticket, and adios, amigo. We don't need you here.
But it's a one-way.
Oh, absolutely.
And as soon as you get on that plane, you denounce your American citizenship so you cannot come back.
Yeah, don't come crying back to us with a tail between your legs and a crying towel in your hand saying, I made a mistake. Well, you made a big mistake there, young lady, young man, because you didn't know enough to keep your mouth shut and really study what's going on.
Yeah. And did you see that young man this morning went around and asked people about somebody, a government official, getting his son a job on a deal, and everybody thought it was Trump. And then when they said it was Biden, they said they didn't care about that either.
Yeah. I got to run. I'm way late, Doug. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody, let's do what you can for our senior centers.
All right, buddy.
God bless.
Appreciate it. Caller number 2, please do not hang up. I appreciate your call. I've got to get a weather in. I'll be 1 minute. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody about our dear friends at Mount Harrison Audiology. Can I start that over? Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids without biting my tongue. And, of course, if your hearing is being depleted and you're worried about it, hey, don't put it off. I had some problems, and I went over there, and they helped me. They can help you. Absolutely. With the expert diagnostic tests and the best technology to serve you at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. The number to call, 312-0957. Right now, here's the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this first official day of October, and it's going to be a little bit chilly in the morning. Maybe some patchy freezing fog before noon. However, we are expecting mostly sunny skies and a high of 52 for tonight. Mostly clear skies. Going to get cold again with a low of around 27. Tomorrow, sunny and with a high of 55. Expecting an overnight low of 30 by Thursday. More sunshine. Going to be the warmest day of the week so far. Expecting a high of 63. Then by Friday, mostly sunny, mid-50s. That's a look at your weather forecast for 7th Ranch.
Thank you very much, and brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Don't let hearing loss go on without getting treatment. Please call them today at 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, you have been extremely patient. Thank you. Are you there, caller? Wheels, do you have the caller waiting or not?
Yeah, Tony should be there, but let me check.
All right, hurry. Tony, are you on the air? Well, evidently not. Wheels, cancel that line then because I didn't hear anybody. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Like to hear from you. You talk about being misguided. These are students at the University of Oklahoma, one of the most prestigious universities in America. And they are completely attempting to silence the free expression of speech in this country, and that can never be permitted. These kids need to have a wake-up call. They need to have an extra cup of coffee because they have no clue what they are talking about or trying to do. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Doug had to go.
What's that?
Doug called in, but he had to go, so he hung up.
Well, that was a short conversation. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got something else I've got to get in here real quick this morning. I might not have time tomorrow. That the city of New York, now you're not going to believe this. I know you're going to have trouble fathoming this, but in New York City, they are passing legislation to where if you are back there in New York City and say something about illegal aliens in this country, they are trying to pass a law against your free speech and your First Amendment and charge you. Listen to this. This will knock your Tony Lamas off. Stick you in jail and post you with a $250,000 fine. I am not making this up. We're going to be talking more about this in a moment. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Quickly.
Yeah, it's just me. My phone had gone dead, and I just stuck it up on the charger here. Anyway, I really think if you can get somebody who was living recently in Hong Kong to find out what it is to live under communism.
Absolutely.
Maybe some of these young people out here that are going to school that have no experience other than what they're learning in school, they might find out that living under the Democratic Party is going to be the same way of living under what those people in Hong Kong are doing right now.
Tony, you know as well as I do. Come on, let's not beat around the bush. These kids today, and I don't care who's offended by this, you know it's true. They've got it too doggoned easy.
Oh, they do, absolutely. They have no clue about how it was surviving in the Depression years or anything else. The only thing they know is what they're being taught in school.
There are some excellent young businessmen. There are some excellent young millennials. There are some excellent young people that have got their minds all put together and their goals and their career aspirations. And then you've got a bunch of punks that don't know, like I said a minute ago, the difference between charging a parked car or chasing after one that's moving. They absolutely coming out and saying they're going to get rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. They're going to get rid of this, that, and this. They don't like this in this country. They're going to go for Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Christopher Columbus. We're going to find fault with everything. I am sick and tired of it while they're living in the greatest country ever in the world.
Well, too bad there are not more of these level-headed millennials that are coming on your program trying to explain to people what they're being taught in school and what they're not being taught in school.
I would like to
try to expose these teachers that are going to ruin the education system and the students.
I agree. I would like to take a tape recorder and go around the country and maybe visit Clovis, California, or maybe go visit Malala, Oregon, or maybe go visit Jackson, Wyoming, or maybe go visit Peoria, Illinois, whatever, and stop into their classrooms and see what they're really saying and find out really myself firsthand what's the problem with these young liberal teachers that are spewing out this garbage. Tony, I got another call, but God bless you for your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, buddy. Caller, quickly. I've only got 1 minute. 1 minute. Don't go long.
I won't, Zeb. Hey, I agree with Tony and with Adrian both there. I think what we need to do is sit back, and I know you've heard it. I know you know him most likely. Henson Cargill, Skip a Rope. Sit down and pay attention real closely to the words of that song.
Amen. You know, that was a really good, poignant call. Sir, thank you. God bless you for your call. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Thank you, Skipper. I'm going to go get the words to that song, too. Hey, I want to remind you about our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations having a big fall tire sale right now. You can save a lot of money. You can save up to $152 on a set of 4 select light truck and SUV tires. Oh, stop in. They've been doing the right thing since 1952. The best of all the tires and the tread and the sizes, everything for all your vehicles, the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, best in batteries. Don't go up hunting without checking that battery. And all you need to do is stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland and Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run for about 7 minutes. I'll be right back, and we're going to talk energy with Dan Kish. Don't go away. Oh, my. Good morning on October 1. Yep, October 1, a brand new month. Good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch. And brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big fall tire sale right now. Stop in and see them today. Also, I want to remind you about some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And our friends at Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Right now, Wheels, this good word for Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
And it's really true. They are always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, quality, dependability, and value. I urge you to call them at 734-6969. They can take care of your garbage. Get rid of your trash. Please call them today at 734-6969. Western Waste Services. Yep. Always at your disposal. Wheels, again, I don't know why it happened during this hour again yesterday, but we've got that little bit of line hum. If you could listen in and just maybe see what it might or might not be, I'd appreciate it. I want to remind everybody out there about Ramsey Heating and Electric along with Lennox, with the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox that features remote control access, so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere, any place. Check it out today at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new system. So keep comfy. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. See the dealer for details. While we have just a quick second before I get my good friend Dan Kish on the air, I want to remind everybody about Hanson Mortuary. Pardon me, at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call and number to remember, 436-5636. When there is the passing of a loved one, the whole world just tips upside down and you don't know what to do, how to get it done in a short period of time. Please call them and let them help you. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. That number, 436-5636. Joel Heward and his staff. And Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and with the American Energy Alliance, my friend, and nobody knows energy more than he does, Dan Kish. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm well, and hope you are as well.
I am, but I have a lot of concerns I want to talk to you about this morning. I just really feel like, as much as I travel around the country and talk to various people, that the American public is being dulled down, or they're very naive about what the green energy program would be or do if the Democrats get into office. Now, they're talking about the elimination or curtailment of private vehicles, or you change over and buy a very expensive new electric vehicle. They're talking about changes in agriculture, what you can plant, what you can't plant. They're talking about massive changes in transportation, how our goods and services may or may not be delivered. They're talking about how we build our homes, how we heat our homes, what we do in our homes. I don't think the American public knows how serious this is. Dan, go ahead.
Well, Zeb, I agree with you. I mean, these are all matters of control, by central government. And when you really drill down into this and see exactly where they're headed, what they're really talking about is controlling your life by controlling your energy. The very things you mentioned, the way you transport goods, the type of agriculture you engage in, the way you heat your homes or businesses. All of these things would be subject to edicts from on high in Washington, D.C., and I can tell you, when it comes to understanding how things work in the real world, Washington isn't a good place to go. So that's what this is. And as a matter of fact, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her chief of staff, admitted as much when he was talking to the governor of Washington State several months back, when he said, well, you thought this was about climate control? This is about control the entire economy, sort of thing. So they've admitted it. Every once in a while somebody tells the truth in Washington, but it's not often. But when they do at times like that, it's helpful that it was written down and reported by a reporter who probably didn't understand the implications of what he was saying. So this has always been about control. It's about telling you what to do, bossing you around, telling you, they think you're too stupid to do things yourselves, and that's what motivates a huge number of these folks who want to control everybody else's life.
And Dan, I don't think I'm being at all out of the ballpark when I start using stories and scenarios of which I have verified with many people. The Democrats and the green energy people that want to have complete control, like I said earlier, they want to curtail private transportation. They want to see nothing but a mass transit system. And with that, all it takes is an eye-opening to understand that rural living is in jeopardy. Rural living may be for the person that wants 5 acres, a couple of horses for the kids, etc. That's a thing of the past, because they want to have people migrate to the cities and communes for, again, that 7-letter word, control. And I'll stand behind what I just said.
Yeah, no, and for good reasons, Zeb, because that's exactly right. They don't like the idea that there are people spread out around this country. It's a lot easier, and you see what happens. If you look at it from their perspective, it makes total sense. When people move to cities, they tend to change their politics because they're used to interventions in their lives. It's like boiling a frog slowly. A little bit of this and a little bit of that, and the bus only comes at a certain time and that sort of thing. But as you know, when you're talking rural America, especially rural West, the idea that somehow you're going to have a bus line pick people up and delivering according to their schedule is just absurd. It makes absolutely no sense, and you just have buses running all over the place towards no good end. That's why the freedoms that come with our ability to make those decisions for ourselves are so important, and it is about control. It's about, you take a look at the big cities on a map. Last presidential election's a classic example. You had a few little blue spots when you go county by county around the country, but those had all the people. And those people vote consistently one way. I live in Washington, D.C., where 94% of the people voted for Hillary Clinton. I mean, there's not any diversity in that vote at all.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of these urban areas that aren't any different.
Well, Dan, put this in perspective for my listeners this morning, what we just talked about. They want to curtail rural lifestyles. I know that because I've talked to some of these dim-witted Democrats that are advocating this. They want people to move into the cities and the communes. They want to eliminate private transportation, going to the store, going to the Little League baseball game, going to the Friday night football game. They want everybody to basically live in a little controlled vacuum, if you will. But you mentioned buses running all over the place. That's the word you used. And I would say I differ on your statement there, because how would there be buses running all over the place? That would be more energy, more time. I honestly think they have not planned or figured this out, what they're going to do with the masses, other than just say you're on your own and people are going to suffer from this.
Right. Well, they're trying to drive. I mean, if they can dry up the economy of rural America, the children have no opportunities. They get forced into the cities. That's the only place where they can get jobs, that sort of thing. Those are the sorts of things that I'm talking about in terms of trying to force people, funnel them into becoming, in essence, fine with the fact that these people want to control their lives.
I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, I'm sure through your office, and you're a very, very sharp guy. That's why I have you on this program. But people, let alone the private individual trying to go watch his kids or buy the groceries or go to the clothing store or whatever, let's talk about the distribution of those goods and services all across the United States, a network of transportation. How in the world would that be replaced overnight?
Well, and Zeb, that's a huge part of what they don't understand. The cities in the urban areas live pretty well. They live in the most unnatural environment on Earth. Many of those people say they're big environmentalists, but when you look around, they live in concrete, glass, and steel jungles. Everything comes in from outside. They don't grow any of these things that they need. They don't produce their own water. They don't produce their own energy. All of that comes by magic and makes their life easy, if you will, in many respects. A lot of folks wouldn't put up with it, but, everything's available and you can get it pretty much at any time. Those things have to be produced somewhere. And if you cut off the transportation, logistics, and the ability to move these things around or to even produce them, by cutting off the energy, you've in essence choked down your cities too. So I guess at that point the government would get involved in rationing things out to people, because they would have created a problem for which they have a ready solution.
We are looking at a system right now in this world, and again, you're the expert, correct me if I'm wrong. We are, this United States of America, energy efficient and dependent on us. We don't have to depend on somebody riding a camel up to an oasis. We are energy dependent on us. And to take that and throw it away and say no more fuel, and just absolutely say, well, we're gonna go green energy on everything in just a matter of a few years. The cost factor alone, not only to the individuals but also to the different companies, the trucking companies, the home building companies, everything is going to be so enormous. I think you're going to see nothing but chaos and rioting. That's what I predict.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you make it more difficult for people to live their lives, Zeb, there's going to be a reaction. I mean, generally we've stayed within the boundaries, the shoulders of the road in U.S. politics, but there's a whole new breed of cats back here in Washington D.C., and they're bound and determined to push some of these extreme policies, and there's no talking to them. There's no logic. There's no. They don't want to hear any facts because saying it is enough to make it happen. It's like dealing with children, and in many cases they are children, frankly. Speaking of which, I know somebody who was a child a long time ago who's got a birthday tomorrow, and I wish you happy birthday, my friend.
How in the world did you know that?
Well, I live in Washington, D.C. We got all these, the CIA's looking into everything and all the rest.
I tell you what, you're scaring me because I have no clue how you knew that it was my birthday tomorrow, but that's very kind of you to extend that, and thank you very, very much. Yes, and I'm an old man, and you were right when you said your opening statement a long time ago.
Well, I probably stressed that too much, Zeb.
I want to ask you a little bit about home heating and the privacy of your home. If there's anything that makes me absolutely get red in the face and want to fight, it's when I see these commercials on TV, whether they're from Idaho Power or any power company or what we should have our thermostats set at, etc. Dan, I'm going to be very blunt. With my busted up knees and everything else, I need warmer temperatures in the wintertime to keep up and get up and go. And I'm not going to have some damn government official tell me that I have to have my heat set at 69 or 70.
Yep. Listen, Zeb, that's the beauty of being an American. I mean, if somebody likes it cool, they can make it cool. If somebody wants it warm, they can make it warm. We have beat, in essence, nature when it comes to being able to control our environment. It's the one thing that lifts us up above other creatures that can't do that. And the idea that they're pushing things, I saw something recently where they said that at night in the summer that you ought to put your home air conditioning to 82. Well, I would have to lie in a tub at 82 degrees.
Oh, my goodness.
In order to do it. And again, it's more control. It's a justification for control. It shows that frankly, the Idaho Power, they just as soon sell you more electricity, but it makes them feel good with the Greens that are constantly pressuring them if they put those commercials on, which you ultimately pay for, too, in your bill. So,
that's right.
It's,
Give me a little scenario real quick. I've got about 4 minutes left here, and I'm really interested in this. Give me a day in the life of Dan Kish. I mean, do you go to these meetings, and are you sitting down and listening and absorbing what these people are saying, or do you get a chance to arbitrate with them? Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I do less of that than I used to. When I worked on Capitol Hill, I was involved in a lot of those things, and it was nonstop meetings from dusk till dawn, or dawn till dusk. We certainly had huge numbers of people coming in talking about every issue under the sun that you can imagine. There's a huge amount of government involved in things, and the one thing I was always struck by was, boy, the government sure seems to be involved in a lot,
Yeah.
Because people come to Washington by the boatloads, by the plane loads, by the train loads, to redress their grievances. And the one thing I keep saying to myself is, I wonder if our founders ever had any idea that there would be this many people who would have to come and ask for this or ask for that. And it isn't necessarily money or things like that. It's a particular consideration with a regulation or a piece of legislation or something like that. And so it's that. Nowadays, I spend a good deal of my time on the phone and on the computer digging into things and trying to communicate with people who can share information about energy policy and about where we're headed energy-wise. And we're blessed, as you said, to be finally in a position of strength energy-wise, and yet we have some people who want to rip that all down and throw it all out.
Yeah. One final thought, Dan. Every day I wake up and I thank the good Lord for all that I have and all that He's given me. But where are we on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not so bad, 10 being look out, Katie, bar the door, as far as these people that want complete control, these people that want to take away all energy-using sources for a prosperous America. Where are we in our state of worriment about what they're doing?
Well, we should be very, 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 very concerned about it. Unfortunately, the media is in their back pocket. They'll repeat whatever they say without ever questioning them. That's, the one frustrating thing I guess I have about the mass media is that they never ask questions. I mean, whatever happened to curiosity in media and asking, why, where, when, how? None of that. There's never any pushback on these things. People can just come out and make the most ridiculous statements about these things. And if people hear the big lie long enough, they begin to believe it. And, when you combine that with the fact that our government schools are filled with nonsense about this that have been filling our young children. We saw the little gal from Sweden last week admonishing the United Nations for not doing everything that she wants. Well, since when do we listen to 15-year-old girls for giving them everything they want? It's like the inmates are in charge of the asylum.
Absolutely. That's the great way to end it right there this morning. Thank you for all your kind thoughts. Thank you for your birthday wishes. I'm still puzzled as to how you got that information. But Dan Kish with the American Energy Alliance, you're always welcome here. Thank you so much.
Zeb, have a blessed birthday.
I will, my friend. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
Thank you.
Dan Kish, and I have absolute respect for him and what he does and telling it like he does with what's going on with energy or the lack of in this country. And I just tipped over everything on my desk. Oh, my. Okay, well, we'll pick up all that stuff later during the news. I want to remind you, too, about what's going on at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Now, I'm going to be there this afternoon, as a matter of fact, at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Oh, my. Yes, sirree. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists, they can and they will help you get back to being you and get over the aching and the paining. I'll tell you what, they do a great job with all the exercises and, of course, the only one of its kind in this area, the hydrotherapy pool. I urge you to call them and make an appointment. 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You make an appointment today. Also want to remind you, there's big things going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Woo, let me tell you, they've got a low price guarantee on everything right there in the store. And they're having a great big for their fall clearance mattress closeout. Need a new mattress? What do you mean, Bunky, that you went to lay down on the bed last night and went all the way to the floor? Yes, you need a new mattress. They've got deluxe twin mattresses at $99, limited hybrid mattresses starting at $199. Premium Beauty Rest mattresses starting at $7.99. Whoa, you better get in there today. See Jeff and the crew at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. They are waiting right this minute to see you. Stop in and see Lee's Furniture and Floors and More. One other quick word I want to get in before we go to Daniel Ortner next on our program this morning, and that would be, of course, our friends at Let's Ride. We're going to see some better weather. Oh, I know you're sitting there going, oh, my goodness, it's cold outside. Look at the snow out in the mountains. Well, I know that, but we're still going to get some Indian summer. You know that. And it's a great time to go into Let's Ride and check out all the side-by-sides and the four-wheelers. And here's the deal. They've got all the 2020 models coming in, and that means you can make some really big savings on the 2019s. Oh, boy, Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. You stop in. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And what an accessory department. They've got it all. They've got it all. And a super service department to keep you running at Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Let's go to the phone line right now. Pacific Legal Foundation, Daniel Ortner, attorney, and great spokesman, too, for all the topics that he's on the air about. Daniel, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Yourself?
No, not too bad. I'm going to have to ask you to speak up nice and loud so we can hear you. I believe you're on a cell phone, and I hate cell phones, so speak up loud, please.
All right. Is that any better?
A little bit, yes. Hold it right there. Do not move. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, okay?
Okay, I'll try. Sorry.
All right, sir. Daniel, what's this at the University of California down in your neck of the woods with diversity of thought? Explain the story to me.
Yeah, so the University of California, in the past couple of years, has begun requiring anyone who wants to be on the faculty, so to teach at the University of California, to fill out what they call a diversity statement. And in this statement, you have to tell them how you have contributed to diversity. And this is being used increasingly as a way to, first of all, illegally consider race and gender in the selection process, and second, to impose ideological conformity on applicants so that they all have to think the same about the issues of diversity. If you disagree with the school's view of diversity programs, that they want these minority outreach programs, then you will not be hired at the University of California.
Oh, brother. Now, I've really got a whole bunch of questions for you on this. Do you mean to tell me that we're all little robots and that we must adhere and go along with what the university expects each and every person to believe in or speak about at the University of California? Is that what they're searching for?
Well, specifically on this topic of diversity, they want everyone to agree that minorities are systematically being oppressed, that you need these programs of outreach. If you say something along the lines of what Chief Justice Roberts has said, or Martin Luther King has said, which is the way to stop discriminating on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. We need to be colorblind. We need to treat everyone fairly based on not on the color of the skin, but their character. If you have that view, you're going to be marked down in the statement, and you're not going to be likely to be hired in the University of California.
Daniel, this sounds to me, and I'm very blunt on this program. If you don't like it, you can tell me. If you agree with me, you can tell me that too. But it sounds to me like another anti-white movement.
I think that the idea behind it is we want to make sure everyone feels welcome. The minorities feel welcome at the university. They're underrepresented. But unfortunately, the way they're doing that is to crack down on intellectual diversity or other kinds of diversity. You know, they talk about diversity, but really they just mean race and gender. They're not expecting intellectual diversity. They don't want students to be exposed to different ideas or faculty to think differently from one another. It really reminds me of the loyalty oaths that were in the 1950s, where people had to promise that they were not a member of the Communist Party and were not sympathetic to communism, or they couldn't get hired. Those were widely seen as unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has said so, and I think everyone on both sides of the aisle recognized it. And I hope that the same fate will befall these new loyalty oaths of today.
Let me ask you this. You're with the Pacific Legal Foundation. What is your taking in this issue? What are you trying to do? Who are you representing? And what do you hope the final outcome is going to be?
Yeah, we're not representing anyone yet. We're hoping to represent someone. Speaking out on the issue right now, we're hoping to find people that are willing to speak out. It's very hard to find anyone on faculty members or prospective faculty members who are willing to stand out and say, no, this is wrong. People want to fall in line because their jobs depend on it. So what we're looking for, and the reason I'm writing and speaking out on this, is looking for brave members of the faculty, especially UC Davis, Berkeley, and UC Santa Cruz, which are the three schools at the forefront of this issue in California right now, who are willing to stand up and to fight. And that's what we're hoping to. We're hoping to bring a lawsuit to challenge these. We believe they violate the First Amendment. They also violate Prop 209 on the California Constitution, where the voters in California said, we don't want affirmative action programs in our universities. We don't want race and gender being considered. We want people to be treated equally. This is blatantly violating that. It also violates some other California laws as well. So we're just looking for the right person who's willing and able to bring a challenge to it.
Okay, but let's be really blunt about this issue, Daniel. Does the First Amendment, honestly, I know you're a lawyer and I know you probably have a barrage full of dictionary words to give me an answer, but be really blunt. Does the First Amendment mean anything anymore?
It does, fortunately. I think that's one of the few issues in our Constitution where both liberals and conservative judges have been very strong on the First Amendment. Funnily enough, California is in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is universally regarded as the worst court for conservative issues. But on this particular issue of campus speech, they're actually one of the better circuits because it's not seen as a partisan issue. They're on the left and on the right. Fortunately, the judges in this country, by and large, respect freedom of speech. Unfortunately, administrators, especially the diversity bureaucrats that are being hired into roles instead of hiring faculty and professors, are not respective of freedom of speech. But I have great hope that the courts will be. The Supreme Court has repeatedly said, especially in the context of on campuses, the campuses need to be a centerpiece of free speech, a place where free speech can really flourish, where you can't have forced ideological conformity. And so I think what University of California is doing is completely contrary to the ideals of the First Amendment, and I have great confidence that courts will recognize that if a case can be brought.
Yeah, but Daniel, come on. You and I have talked about this in the past. I would be one of the first people on any college campus that says, oh, Zeb Bell, well, you can't say that here. You've got to walk over there behind that oak tree. We've got a little bit of an area for you called a free speech zone. Now, nobody can hear you. Nobody can see you, but that's where you can exercise your right of free speech. I'd be thrown off that campus in a heartbeat because I would tell them exactly where the goat ate the cabbage in the garden. I will say what I want anytime, any place.
Yeah, and those are unconstitutional as well. I think in courts have increasingly found those kind of speech zones unconstitutional. There's a lot of things universities are doing that violate the First Amendment. Some of it goes unchallenged. I think to date these diversity statements, because it's very hard to find people willing to speak out. Especially here, people who are applying for academic jobs don't want to have a black mark on their resume as the one who sued the university, so they won't want to, they'll have a hard time getting hired elsewhere. So it really just requires people of courage to say enough is enough. We don't want the university to become ideologically conformist. We don't want all our professors to think alike. We don't want all the students to have to think alike. We want real freedom of thought, real freedom of expression.
I just read this morning, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but another free speech scare is going on back in New York City. And this kind of dovetails into what you and I are talking about right now, Daniel, that the city commission in New York on human rights has issued a 29-page directive last week that says if someone says the words illegal alien out in public and somebody deems that as being a heinous crime, that person that said it could be fined up to $250,000. This is lunacy.
That's right. It's crazy. And it is absolutely unconstitutional to say you cannot use the words of your choice. Those words may be offensive to some people, but it's absurd. I mean, you cannot be a speech police and say if you say something that offends someone, we're going to fine you. That is blatantly unconstitutional. I have great confidence that will be challenged as well.
We have a caller with a quick comment for you, Daniel. Stand by. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
It's very frustrating when we are supposedly have free speech. We are not free to speak what we want to speak. It's not hatred. It's not spiteful. God bless you. God bless America. Boy, they sure trying to curtail that. But if it comes back to negative, hurtful speech against the Republic in the United States of America, it's all go for it. And I don't understand where the hate speech is free speech, and free speech and kind speech is no longer free speech, if you understand what I'm trying to get at.
I do, and I'll have our attorney friend Daniel Ortner respond to that. Daniel, respond to the caller, please.
Sure. I think what you're getting at is we've gotten to the point where people are so easily triggered or offended by ideas that they disagree with, the things that were once seen as non-controversial, like being patriotic, like loving your country, like valuing individual liberty, is now seen as controversial. I think that's really unfortunate. We've raised a generation of young people that are so quick to be offended by anything they disagree with. And I think part of that fault goes to the university, where faculty and administrators are teaching students now, if you're offended, you need to complain and you need to shut down the person that offends you. You don't need to listen. You don't need to hear different ideas. You don't need to counterspeak. You need to shut them down. That culture, I think, it comes from students, it comes from the faculty, and it especially comes from administrators, like these diversity bureaucrats. And all they're doing, again, they're not teaching, they're not contributing to scholarship. All they're doing is policing ideas and policing thoughts and trying to enforce conformity. So I think the university is a big culprit right now for why that's happening, because there isn't a place where people learn it's okay to hear ideas you disagree with. It's okay to disagree with people, even strongly. You're not going to be hurt. It's not going to cause you psychic harm. You're going to survive hearing something that offends you. You hear it, you move on, you disagree, and that's the vision the founders had for America, that we're robust and can handle disagreement with one another.
Daniel, isn't it ridiculous, I think is the word that fits in here, and so ambiguous of the left that call themselves liberal, and yet they want to shut everybody else down?
Yeah, I think classic liberalism is this idea, John Mill, this idea of liberty being the core of liberalism, this idea of everyone has individual rights. That classic idea of liberalism, I think, is very foreign to today's left, who would say they're progressives, which means they believe government is the solution to make people think and act differently. They don't believe that humans are individuals that should have freedom, instead it's government needs to step in and change how people think and change how people act and intervene to change human nature in some fashion. And that's a very dangerous direction to go in. It is very contrary, I think, to what liberalism really means and really represents.
Absolutely. Daniel Ortner with the Pacific Legal Foundation. And real quick, Daniel, tell everybody how they can follow this story and others with Pacific Legal.
Sure. Our website is pacificlegal.org. We have our cases. We're fighting the government all over the country, fighting for free speech, fighting for equal protection under the law. You can come there and learn about all of our cases and how we help people fight the government and win, and come learn more and participate and be part of our movement.
All right, Daniel Ortner, come back soon. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate Daniel being on the show. We didn't get the best of connections. It wasn't Wheel's fault or my fault, but sometimes cell phones, as I've said and stated on this program numerous times, they are worthless on long-distance phone calls. And so I hope that most of the audience could hear what he had to say, and it was really interesting. Appreciate it. Right now, we're going to take care of the weather, and then we'll open it up for you to get involved with more of your phone calls and comments this morning. And our weather, if you could see this desk, earlier this morning I was on with another guest and I just tipped everything. I mean, I bumped it all. We've got papers on the floor. We've got papers here that don't belong on the desk. We've got everything. The weather is brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, and they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. Tax return preparations, tax planning, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. All you need to do is just get a hold of them today. They've got offices in Burley and Rupert serving you. 1710 Overland in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this first official day of October, and it's going to be a little bit chilly in the morning. Maybe some patchy freezing fog before noon. However, we are expecting mostly sunny skies and a high of 52 for tonight. Mostly clear skies. Going to get cold again with a low of around 27. Tomorrow, sunny and with a high of 55. Expecting an overnight low of 30 by Thursday. More sunshine. Going to be the warmest day of the week so far. Expecting a high of 63. Then by Friday, mostly sunny, mid-50s. That's a look at your weather forecast for 7th Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. And brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. As I said, they are the professionals serving you, and they have been for over 50 years. They are the best at what they do in offices in Burley and Rupert. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. Wheels, once again, we are getting on the feed line somewhat of a line home. If you could check that out, I'd appreciate it. It snapped off yesterday at about 10:15, 10:17, something like that, but it's back again this morning. Please reevaluate everything. It's not going on the air, I'm sure, but it's coming down the line to me. Thank you. I want to remind everybody about Lennox and Ramsey Heating and Electric with the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox, featuring a remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere, anytime. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. So keep yourself comfortable. Contact Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 and see the dealer for details, please. All right, you're welcome. Give us a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know how far this lunacy of gender neutral has gone in this country? Now in Maryland, and I know there's talk here in the state of Idaho, gender-neutral options on driver's licenses has been passed in Maryland. And now, instead of marking male or female, you can just mark an X. Lunacy has taken over common sense in this country. And this is absolutely the last straw. When is America going to realize that we're on the road to hell with all of this idiocy? There are two genders, male and female. Don't give me this other garbage, and that's what it is, of 36, 49, 52 different genders and all that, and you can be this one day and this the next day. Bunk! And again, I cleaned it up. This is absolute lunacy. And no wonder our kids today are so confused as to what's going on around them and their environment. Total lunacy is taking their minds, and it's just like a hand grenade going poof. There are only two genders, male and female. And yesterday I reported on a story, and it's worthy of touching on again today. I said yesterday, and I will maintain, that all parents that have daughters that play sports, they should absolutely be livid. There were many, many things that were done, including Title IX enhancement money, to ensure more of an equality basis for ladies and young women in sports. But now the Democrats, and they are advocating an Equality Act, they say, to where transgender males can compete on girls' teams. Yesterday I had a chance to follow a story about a family in Connecticut where their daughter was absolutely a star track runner and lost a scholarship to a transgender male. A scholarship that would have helped this family, and they are of mid to lower income means with their lifestyle. This would have helped that family supply this young lady a college education because of her athletic ability, and she really wanted to go on and be involved in the nursing profession. But she was beat out of that scholarship by a transgender male that had beaten her for the title. This is sick and absolutely perverted. And Joe Biden and others on the Democratic ticket have said, well, we're going to stand up for this Equality Act to where they can compete wherever they want. They have absolutely destroyed basketball teams. They being the transgender males. They have absolutely destroyed ladies soccer teams. They now are going after the track scholarships, etc. These are male sickos that are destroying girls' and women's sports. And every mother and father in this country should be absolutely infuriated over this and demand that this stop. What are your thoughts? Be brave. Speak out. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call to come in, I want to remind you, too, about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. All your life insurance, all your health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this, and they will sit down with you, your family, and your business and make sure everything is covered. I urge you to give them a call, make an appointment at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. They're very responsive to your needs, so call them today. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Give them a call. You know, I really urge you to give me a jingle. Let me know what your thoughts are. Sometimes some of these topics, some people say, well, I don't want to let my voice be on the radio. I don't want to have somebody hear me. They might know who I am. These times today need brave people to speak out. We have got a lot of problems in this country, and it's about high time that we spoke out and let our positions be heard and be notified. I've got another little subject, and I'm not going to mention who. I'm not going to give you the circumstances, but an extremely reputable doctor and I had a conversation about the refugees coming into this country. We don't know anything about their past health. We don't have anything as far as their health records or anything that we really need to know about individuals, about their vaccination programs, if anything. And in the course of the conversation, we started talking about food service representatives. Many refugees that we know nothing about are coming into this country and obtaining jobs in food preparation at fast food restaurants and also at major restaurants. And do we know anything about them, their health, or what they've been exposed to? And they are making food preparation for you and I. Does this concern you? It should. Could it be a major problem? Absolutely. But it is the naivete of various communities, i.e. Twin Falls and others, that are welcoming these people in with open arms, and really, really do we know anything about them for the security and safety of our families and our children? I put that out there. I'd like to have somebody respond. Again, this is a subject where you got to show some courage and you got to speak up. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, hopefully that's coming in, I want to talk to you quickly about Patterson's Electronics at 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis and Lorena, how are you? Really, really good people. And they've got the Ring hardware, you know, the doorbell system and the security systems. Absolutely a great idea. They've got the Ring hardware systems right there at Patterson's Electronics. And you want to know what's going on outside your door? This is the opportunity for you. Check it out. Give them a call or stop in at 678-6997. Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley, your electronics headquarters. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Please stop in and see them today. Patterson's in Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zebber. This is your trucker buddy.
Yes, sir.
Well, I agree with you on the health of these immigrants. We kind of need to know, what their past history has been, whether they've got immunizations or not. Because what we don't need in this country is another epidemic of, say, these diseases that were supposedly, put down and eradicated through vaccinations. We don't need another start of that.
Well, they already are starting. Just a minute.
Here recently.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
No, I'm listening to you. And we've got, for some reason, we've got some feedback problems, and the line's not right this morning. I just wanted to say that your point on measles is absolutely spot on. It's a growing concern, a growing problem. We also are looking at other diseases rearing their head, and one of which that I know a lot more about than most people, and that's poliomyelitis. Polio is also making a resurgence in many countries around the world. And we can't let this come back without a strong vaccination program, and we need to know who has what and who has not had a good, viable vaccination program.
Yes, absolutely, because I know that you, unfortunately, when you were a child, you got polio. My own father did too, and he suffered from it a little as well. But we don't need a resurgence of this. We even had a president that had polio when he was younger. That was Roosevelt.
That's right.
So it could affect anybody.
Absolutely. Listen, man, it's good to hear from you. Drive safely out there on the highways. Thank you so much.
Always drive safe. Okay, you have a good day now.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I just think that we need to know a lot more. With a lot of these people coming into this country and working in our food services as food preparations, etc., what do we know about them? What do we know about their backgrounds? What do we know about their vaccination programs? Nothing. We're going to get ready to have Dr. History come on the program in about 7 minutes. He has walked in with his entourage, and it's really kind of cumbersome having all these people in my house. They kind of open the doors for him, and they lay down the carpets, and they take his coat off, and they fluff up the cushion on his chair, and one of them, the lady that's with him, combs the hair and everything, and it's just really kind of a cumbersome type thing having 37 people with us. And Dr. History will be on the air at 10:06 this morning. With that being said, we're going to take a break for a couple of minutes and be back. CBS News is next. I'll be right back. What do they mean by playing the music when you and I are having a good conversation? Oh, dear. We'll be on the air with Dr. History in just a moment. This is Zeb at the Ranch with Zeb Bell and, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a great big fall tire sale, and stop in and see them today. And also, I want to remind you about some of our great advertisers, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And also Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. Go see that place. It's beautiful. 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, teamed up with Lennox and the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostats from Lennox, featuring remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. Oh boy, you check it out today at Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering with Lennox up to $1,600 in rebates on a new system. Make yourself comfy. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. Wheels, I don't know what you did, but it's 100% better over there at the station, old buddy. Appreciate your help. And right now, with that being said, kind of a closed circuit thank you to Wheels. Here's our dear friend, the one, the only, and we're blessed, Dr. History.
Good morning, Zeb.
How are you?
You know, I've already said happy birthday tomorrow, and as I've already told you, I will never be as old as you.
Where's my present?
Well, just keep watching.
It's in the mail.
Keep watching. I don't know when it's going to get here, but
no, it's been ordered from a company in Taiwan.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's slow boat.
So, what's going on in the world of history?
Well, I'm going to talk about two people, and I'm going to bet most people have heard of an Indian chief by the name of Cochise.
Oh, absolutely.
But how many people have heard of a guy named Tom Jeffords? Probably not so many.
You're really hitting me with one I've never heard of.
So let me just read his tombstone, his grave marker. It says, Thomas J. Jeffords, 1832 to 1914, friend and blood brother of Cochise, peacemaker with hostile Apaches, 1872. So I'm going to talk about these two guys and their lives, how that intermingled. Now, Cochise was kind of known for being sometimes kind of treacherous, but sometimes very generous.
I thought that was Geronimo that was the bad guy.
Yeah, but Cochise was kind of both ways.
Really?
Okay. For example, he had a friend named Tom Gardner, who once was a close friend of Cochise, and he was carrying provisions to a mine near Tucson with a buddy of his, and they saw two Indians coming towards him. Well, he recognized Cochise, and who made the peace sign. Well, Gardner was riding a nice horse. He stopped.
Was it the peace sign or half of the peace sign?
I don't know. I don't know. They made a sign. Well, when he recognized Cochise, Gardner was riding a nice horse, and they stopped to talk. And Cochise raised his rifle, fired, and hit Gardner. Shot through the body. Cochise and the other Indian, they left in pursuit of the horse. Gardner was actually taken to Tucson, where he recovered, so he didn't get killed. Okay, so now that's one side. Okay, now in another incident, a guy named William Kirkland was running a lumber camp at Santa Rita, and he was attacked by Cochise and a band of Indians. Cochise told his men to not kill Kirkland, but they ordered him to cook for them. Cook a meal.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He shoots the guy.
No, not this guy.
Kirtland didn't get shot.
No, he didn't get shot.
Oh.
The other guy did.
Okay.
So Kirtland is kind of taken captive, and Cochise orders him to cook a meal.
Really?
So here's what he says. Kirtland says, I didn't know I could even cook. But
I'll bet he learned in a hurry.
But he said, I found that I cook pretty well. He slaughtered an ox, roasted it, and fed them at his own table. When they finished eating, the Indians just kind of left quietly. So that's kind of two sides of cooking.
There wasn't any thank you?
I don't know.
Did they leave a gratuity of 15%?
Probably not.
I see.
Now, only Tom Jeffords, that's the guy we're going to talk about, and Cochise became blood brothers by intermingling, and it says supping of the blood from each other's arms in the mystic ceremony of the Apaches.
Oh.
Now, I'd heard of intermingling the blood, but I didn't know about that other part.
In the movie Josie Wales, they cut their hands and shook.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Jeffords traveled in and out of the stronghold at will, and he became known as Chickasha. That was his Indian name, or it stood for brother to the Chiricahuas.
Was Jeffords a white guy?
Yes, yeah.
I know who it is. I just figured it out.
Yeah.
Broken Arrow, the TV series, was named after him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, the mail came through with no trouble as long as Jeffords was in command of the line. And as a pledge of affection, Cochise presented Jeffords with a beautiful constructed rifle, which the captain treasured until he died. And although there were frequent skirmishes later on between Apaches and soldiers, in which Jeffords actually led some of the army, nothing ever came between their relationship. Now, Jeffords must have noted with amazement this really is kind of a fortress of the Chiricahuas. For 12 years, ever since Cochise was actually betrayed while he was talking with a young army lieutenant named Bascom and taken prisoner, this Indian leader had ruled over this vantage point, and his braves had become kind of the scourge of the territory. They just did whatever they wanted to.
Really?
But in this kind of fortress, they had granite walls as high as 1,500 feet, and this offered protection for the Indians.
This is where the Chiricahuas were.
Right, yeah. And offered protection against any enemy, and his principal stronghold was in the Chiricahua Mountains near Cochise Head. Now, I'm not exactly sure where that's at. But the army was facing a warrior who knew every trail, canyon, and crevice for hundreds of miles in any direction. Cochise ruled the territory all the way from Tucson and Pinos Altos as far south as he wanted to go, into Mexico. His braves could travel this land on foot, and we've talked about this before, 75 miles per day over the roughest terrain. And
on foot?
On foot. And Cochise had a very reliable smoke signal system.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and he could communicate.
75 miles a day on foot?
Right. I just can't hardly...
You can't make it 75 feet from the car in here.
I know. But, the U.S. troops, they were too slow. They were too thinly spread out. They were often helpless. And only once had they actually scored against the Chiricahuas. And this was at a place called Apache Pass, when greatly outnumbered and facing sure defeat, a detail of Army troops brought up a howitzer. They blew holes in the Indian ranks and killed quite a few of them. But the Chiricahuas were completely demoralized. But Cochise merely changed his tactics, and what he would do then, he just sent out smaller and faster raiding parties and continued doing what he did. Now, the Grant administration, which, according to my article here, says notorious for its blunders in dealing with the Indians.
Oh, they were.
Became desperate, and in 1871 they sent General O.O. Howard, who was a one-armed hero of the Civil War, to Arizona Territory, and he said, "You've got to make peace with Cochise." Well, General Howard, known as the, quote, Christian general, and probably the first officer in the Southwest to use any common sense in dealing with the Indians, heard of Tom Jeffords, who was a guide for the cavalry troops stationed at a garrison in New Mexico. So he sent for him. So he wanted to have somebody helping him out here. So here's what he said. Will you take me to Cochise? And he says, "Are you willing?" And then Jeffords said, "Are you willing to go there without soldiers?" And he said, "Yes, if necessary." He said, "Then I will take you to him." So that was the rules. Okay. Now Cochise was...
He knew where to go.
Yeah, he knew exactly where to find him. So Cochise, greatly distressed by his diminishing number in his ranks, he was at this point ready to talk peace. And he was a wise and a great leader, and he could foresee what was coming, that his people were going to be wiped out. So
I've got to ask you a quick question. I know you're shy on time. What was the relationship between Cochise and Geronimo?
They kind of worked together somewhat, and I'm not sure exactly how that relationship went, but yeah, they were part of this whole thing too as well. So anyway, Jeffords must have known what an impression it would make on Cochise for the general to come alone, as Jeffords himself had once done. So to go in there alone would be an impressive thing. Well, they were escorted toward the stronghold by a guy named Chi, who was a young chief and nephew of Cochise, and another Indian named Ponce, whose father was a sub-chief. Now, Jeffords, Howard, and a small detail had left the New Mexico garrison with the two braves, and when the party was within 100 miles of the stronghold, the two Indians began announcing their approach by smoke signals.
Really?
Now, this is 100 miles away.
100 miles?
Yeah. So,
was that done by Yuma?
I'm not exactly sure where this... I should have looked on the map to see exactly where this took place. But anyway, 2 days later, all except Jeffords, Howard, and 3 personal aides turned back to New Mexico for the next 70 miles.
Wow.
The peace party proceeded alone, stopping only for food and water. Now, upon arrival at Cochise's camp, Howard was told he must wait 10 days while a council of chiefs was called. There must be nights spent in consulting the spirits. Although the treaty depended solely on Cochise's agreement, the meeting would be a great challenge to Howard's ability to talk to Cochise.
They didn't really have anything to ensure their safety, did they?
No. But they were he was relying on Jeffords being
a friend.
Yeah, friend and diplomacy.
Yeah.
Well, and the Apaches had some really good reasons for their distrust of the white men's treaties.
Sure.
So they remembered how Mangus Colorado, the great chief of the Apaches, had met under a flag of truce with California reserves on their way to the Civil War and had been brutally murdered that same night. So you can see why Cochise was nervous. And then another occasion, they called it the Old Camp Grant Massacre in 1871. Now, this was kind of a Pearl Harbor for the southwestern Indians. Now, this hung heavy, too, in the hearts of the Chiricahuas. The Aravepa Apaches, a friendly tribe which had voluntarily come down to make its peace with the white men. There was a party of about 146 white men. They became enraged at an Apache raid, and they failed to distinguish between good and bad Indians. Well, they moved down to this old Camp Grant where the government had given protection to a tribe of these Indians. Well, it was a terrible slaughter. They killed over 108 Indians, most of which were women and children. Sad. So again, you see why Cochise was pretty nervous about any kind of treaty. Well, and then these guys that killed all those, they rode back to Tucson feeling quite successful in their revenge, but the responsible citizens were enraged at what happened. President Grant heard the news. He threatened to bring Tucson under martial law unless the guilty members were brought to trial. But the feeling was so strong among the settlers against the Apaches that he only took the jury 20 minutes to free all these defendants, so to speak, that had massacred those Indians. Again, a bad deal. So Cochise, must have related his own bitter experience with the Army to General Howard, and this was happened to him in 1856. He had made his peace voluntarily with the white soldiers, riding down to Fort Buchanan and promising that he would not bother the white settlers and that he would even protect them.
What year did you say that was?
This was 1856.
Well, how come we're going back in time when you were talking about 1872 and 1876 a little bit ago?
That's a good question. Well, no, this happened prior to all that. This was something that took place several years prior. Okay. So in 1861, this young lieutenant named George Bascom, he was sent to locate a missing Mexican boy. And Bascom invited Cochise and several of his sub-chiefs to a talk in the lieutenant's tent at Apache Pass, then demanded that the boy be given up. Well, Cochise, he was kind of mad at this. He tried to explain that they did not have the boy, but he would willingly help to try to find him. So Bascom placed them all under arrest. Now, remember, he went in there voluntarily. Okay, well, he placed them all under arrest. Cochise quickly escaped, but was wounded by some soldiers. 6 of his warriors were detained. Cochise immediately captured 4 white prisoners to bargain for their release. Now, so the angry Chiricahuas killed their 4 prisoners. The 6 Indian captives, 3 of them relatives of Cochise, were then hanged by Bascom.
Brother.
See how this goes back and forth?
It really turned into a mess.
Yeah. So now it's 12 years later, and Cochise could wisely see the old ways are going to come to an end. Well, the terms of the treaty were more surprising to Jeffords than anyone else concerned. The stronghold and the surrounding mountains would be reserved for Cochise's people, and Jeffords would become their agent. Now, he agreed on 2 conditions. There would be no political interference, and he would have sole jurisdiction over who could enter or leave the reservation, including the Army. That's what Jeffords said. I've got to have complete control of this reservation. So he controls who goes in and out. All right? So, now it's November 1872. General Howard appointed Jeffords as the official Indian agent. His jurisdiction was over actually the largest reservation in the Southwest. And knowing Cochise, he had a little doubt that he could trust the Indians. But Jeffords, it was the settlers and the Army that he was kind of nervous about, as based on past experience. Well, many people were amazed at the control over the Chiricahuas that Jeffords had, and he relied on Cochise's strength alone, the old man now in his 70s, and Cochise. And he ruled with an iron hand. And his restless warriors, whose way of life of raiding and fighting had been stopped, and Jeffords was fair, but he was stern. He was the only white man the Indians were afraid of.
Be careful how you talk about people in their 70s.
Yeah, I know. But Jeffords could make them do anything, and they behaved when he went after them. So he was well respected.
This guy really was the epitome of being caught in the middle.
Right, but honest and fair.
Yeah.
Now, an incident occurred. A Mexican boy was taken by several braves on a raid into Sonora. So Jeffords took possession of the boy and brought him to the agency. Cochise discovered that many of his braves were being blamed for the friction caused by other Indians coming into the reservation. And soon, Cochise himself was soon rounding up renegade warriors. and returning property to their rightful owners. So they were working together.
Really?
Yeah. Now, a great thorn in Indian-white relations was Cochise's refusal to make peace with Mexico. Now, long before the Americans came to the territory, there had been a lot of friction between the Apaches and the Mexicans, and there was terrorism on both sides. No one knew really how that all started, but had been going on for years and years and years. Now, over a year had passed since the treaty with General Howard, and there was no complaint from Americans, but there was constant complaining from the Mexicans. The Indians on the Chiricahua Reservation made it a business of just going down into Mexico and raiding every so often. But even then, the seeds of another broken treaty were being sown. Howard may have been too generous, that too many Indians other than Chiricahuas were on the reserve, and that it was entirely too big for one agent, Jeffords, to handle. Now, there were also some lighter moments to the job of being Indian agent, and Jeffords visited Tucson quite frequently. Now, Jeffords was pleasant to be around. He had quite a sense of humor. He was the handsomest man in Tucson, quote, so remarkably good looking that people turned to look when he passed. So a lot like you and I. Yeah. So in June of 1874, Jeffords was told by Brave that Cochise was gravely ill. Rushing to the stronghold, he found his friend near death, didn't know what was wrong with him. Jeffords decided to return to Fort Bowie for medicine. Before leaving, Cochise asked him, quote, do you think, Chickasha, that you will see me alive again? Jeffords replied, no, I don't think so, in keeping with the truthfulness that had always been between the two. And then Cochise said, do you think we will see each other again ever? And Jeffords said, what do you think? Kind of surprised at the question. And Cochise said, I do not know. It is not clear in my mind, but I think we will somewhere up there.
Wow.
Now, isn't that an interesting statement?
Now, were there Christian influences on the Apaches?
You know, I don't know. There was always a higher power, you know.
Well, I know that, but did they, a lot of times, the influence of whether it was various factions that came across the West tried to preach Christianity to the Indian tribes?
They did, but I don't know how well it was received.
But they did have that higher power belief. Yeah.
Well, Jeffords left, and Cochise, predicting the time of his death, died the following morning, and he was dead when Jeffords returned with a doctor that day. He passed away.
What was the cause?
They didn't know. It was when Jeffords got there, he didn't know what was going on.
Approximately, did they know his age? Or?
Well, he said he was about 70 by now.
I see.
So he was getting up there. But anyway, following the Apache burial ceremonies for a chief, his warriors killed and buried his horse, along with all his worldly goods. Now, upon Jeffords' return, the braves pointed to a grassy mesa and said this was Cochise's final resting place. The Indians on horseback rode back and forth over an area of several acres until it looked like plowed ground. No one except those present and Jeffords would ever know where he was buried. And that was done among the Indians, where sometimes they would bury somebody and they did not want them to be dug up or found.
Right.
Now, Cochise's oldest son, a guy by the name of Taze, he was about 22 years of age, and he'd been selected as the new chief. Cochise's dying words to his people were to find Jeffords and, quote, so long as they obeyed Jeffords, they would be a happy people. Well, the Apaches moved to the agency, and at the end of 1874, Jeffords reported that they promptly obey instructions and have not been off reservation. They are peaceable, healthy, and contented. Now, it's not exactly clear what caused the final break, but some claim that in 1876, against Jeffords' orders, 2 white men sold whiskey to some of the Indians who got in a bad way. They ended up killing the whiskey merchants. Well, the government ordered the Chiricahuas to a San Carlos reservation reservation in Arizona, and a lot of the younger warriors objected, and they bolted, they ran, and later joined up with Geronimo. So that's where Geronimo came back in.
Now, let me, we're out of time, but I want to just interject this. Back in the 60s, and you should remember this because you're old like I am, but back in the 60s, there was that TV show, Broken Arrow, that featured the Indian agent Tom Jeffords and Cochise.
Yeah.
So there was a TV series that really did go after history.
Yeah. So, you know what, that's pretty much the story. Jeffords saw that there was a double cross with the government, obviously, and he, in fact, it was said of Jeffords that as Indian agents go, they said they were all crooks except Jeffords.
Wow.
And he died at the age of 54 in 1880.
At 54?
No, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. No, he died in 1915.
He must have been an old man.
So he was 83, actually.
83,
At 83.
Yeah.
But he had integrity, he was honest, he treated him right, and was
everybody
well
else on the outside really caused the problem.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's a good story about Cochise and him.
Yeah.
And I thank you for putting that on. That was a good one. Dr. History in all of his radiant glory. And now as we look in the background, all of his entourage starting to roll up the red carpet and everything and take it out to his pickup truck. So, Doctor, we will not see you next week.
No.
We will have our guest from Missouri talking about the Little Bighorn.
Yes, that should be really good.
It will be. Thank you. I need to talk to you just in a minute. I'll be right with you. Dr. History every Tuesday right here at 10:06 on Zeb at the Ranch. Don't forget, Greystone Crossing wants you to know if you're a caregiver for a senior and you need to leave town for a couple of days or a few weeks, I have a great idea. Actually, it's their idea. Why don't you call Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Heyburn and make arrangements for your senior to stay right there. All the meals and the snacks and the housekeeping and the transportation while you're away, they can take care of it. So please give them a call at 650-4979. I'll repeat that again, Matt or Kelly Wiggins, 650-4979, and they can visit with you and help you at Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living in Heyburn. We're going to send it back over to our main studios right now for a couple of minutes. We'll be back. More Zeb at the Ranch.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you very much. And don't forget, there is a big happening going on this Saturday, October 5th, at our friends at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. You'd better get on over there. Every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, and this is the first Saturday of October coming up, at this great store, they're going to have all the fall decor marked down. They're going to have all the marked down prices on Halloween and Thanksgiving home decor. And they're going to have all the home decor candles will include free matches and candle purchase. With a candle purchase, I almost ran out of air. And I urge you to stop over and see our friends at Mad River Laser. They have been proudly voted Best Unique Gift Shop 3 years running from 2017 till now. Wow! You'd better enjoy it all at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Stop over and see them this Saturday. Right now, I'm going to go to the phone line because there's a gentleman that's been on my program, I think now almost a half a dozen times, and I have the utmost respect for him. He is the founder and chairman of Black Americans for a Better Future, and I just love to hear him talk and be on the program because I think he and I, if you put us in a room in 5 minutes, we'd have the world problem solved. Good morning, Raynard Jackson. How are you?
Yeah, my man. How you doing?
I am phenomenal, and it's good to hear your voice. How's everything back in D.C. this morning?
Good, good. Of all the Zebs I know, man, you're my favorite Zeb by far.
Okay. I don't know how many Zebs you know, but I appreciate it. Listen, I got to ask you, before we get into the bulk of what I wanted to ask you this morning, what in the world did you think about this, what I call highly fictitious story? It might be true, but it doesn't sound like it, with a gang leader by the name of Corn Pop and Joe Biden. What's going on here, in your opinion?
Zeb, let me tell you something. As I've always told you, I've been black most of my life, and I've never met a black guy with the moniker Corn Pop. So this guy couldn't be a real black person because he'd get run out of the black community with a name like Corn Pop. So, I mean, listen, we both know that Biden has this penchant for exaggerating things and kind of creatively adding things to real stories. So I think this is another example of him taking poetic license in whatever really happened with that situation.
You know, you have always been a straight shooter on this program, and I was absolutely enthralled to read your article called The Continuing Hypocrisy of the NAACP. Why did you write this, and what's been the repercussion back to you?
Well, number one, I wrote it because I was just totally repulsed that this young lady who made credible filings of sexual harassment in the North Carolina NAACP followed all the rules and even had the then state chair of the NAACP agree with it. They launched an independent investigation with a black female attorney that specialized in sexual harassment, found her allegations to be credible and the accusers not to be. They forwarded the report to the national NAACP. Now, check this out, Zed. Isn't it amazing that they do not have a policy for sexual harassment in the NAACP corporate office in Baltimore, but yet during their convention in 2018, they passed a resolution in support of hashtag #MeToo. And they demanded that Judge Kavanaugh has his nomination withdrawn to the Supreme Court over Christine Blasey Ford's unproven allegation. So they called for his withdrawal, and they called him everything other than a child of God. When it happens within their own organization, for 2 years they got laryngitis and said nothing until last week the young lady had a press conference. All of a sudden, the national headquarters finally responded. But it took her 2 years of living hell to get the national. So this type of hypocrisy among liberal blacks has destroyed more lives in the black community than any man with a white hood over his head, Zeb, and that's where the article came from.
What about you, Raynard? I mean, writing this story and voicing opinions like this, has it been detrimental to you and your business? Have people attacked you in the press? What about that?
Well, yeah, I get attacked in the press, black and white press, all the time. But what I've done to insulate myself with over the years, Zeb, is I have such solid relationships with the black community, both on a local level around the country as well as a national level. So when people call me an Uncle Tom or a sellout or I'm just an angry black man, it doesn't stick simply because I'm knee-deep involved on a personal level in various aspects of the black community as far as helping kids from high school get to college, helping them get jobs after college. I'm constantly going to prisons, helping, motivational type speeches. And when these guys get out of prison, I do everything in my power to help them get a job, whether it's sweeping a floor in a church or sweeping the floor on a construction site. So when people come after me, I got a lot of regular people that will come to my defense. So they throw attacks at me, but none of them stick.
You wrote this article, and I highlighted one particular paragraph, and if you don't mind, I'd like to read it and then have you respond to it. They, meaning the NAACP, want and expect to hold white people to a standard they won't hold black people to. They constantly harp about white policemen killing unarmed blacks, but their voices are muted when it comes to black-on-black killing of unarmed blacks. That statement is really an eye-opener because that's exactly what's going on.
Well, yeah, Zeb, it's the truth. And again, we as Americans, we as humans, Zeb, we have to be good all the time. We have to stand up on principle, whether it cuts against our own family or our neighbors or someone halfway across the world. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And if it's bad for a white policeman to kill an unarmed black, it's just as bad for a black to kill an unarmed black in their neighborhood over whether it's gang related or it's an innocent bystander. And so we have to protect the sanctity of life regardless of who's taken or given a life. And I just find it amazing that the NAACP, they have not said, the National, they have not said a word about all the killings that go on every day in Chicago and Baltimore and Ferguson, but yet let one white cop kill Laquan McDaniel in Chicago, and that cop got convicted of murder. They lose their mind over that, but when it's within the black community, they get laryngitis, and I have a problem with that.
Raynard, let me ask you this in regards to various prominent stories that have been out in front of the American public. And let's go back to the Michael Brown story in Missouri. I don't know what your take is on this story, but I'd like to hear. This young man seemed like he was a troublemaker and seemed like, and if you'll pardon the expression, kind of a punk in his community. What are your thoughts about what transpired there and all the problems that came with race relations after that shooting of Michael Brown?
Right, yeah, well, I'm from there, and so I'm born and raised there, so I'm very familiar with the players, the situation. And remember, at the time that Ferguson was 67% black. So if blacks had actually gone out and registered and voted, they could have put in office from mayor to police chief, city council, anybody they chose to. The last election 2 years ago, the voter turnout was only 15%. So I don't want to hear about racism, white folks. Get your butt off the couch and go vote and put in power who you want to be in power and hold them accountable. But this whole notion, the media used Ferguson there, to be very candid with you, to promote their liberal agenda, because this whole ridiculous notion of hands up, don't shoot, it never happened. It never happened. Michael Brown tried to take the policeman's gun. Yeah, it's tragic that he died, but his death is tragic that policeman, he will never get another job in law enforcement again. And he was not convicted of anything, but his reputation has been so damaged, he'll never work in law enforcement again. And so we in the black community, Zeb, we've got to be fair across the board, not just when it comes to the black community.
You are just so full of common sense that all of us need to relate to, and I don't give a darn about what color our skin is. It's just plain common sense. It's respect for our fellow man. It's respect for authority, i.e. the police in this instance. And look at, how would you equate the problems in Baltimore and major cities like that? I mean, this has got to stop.
Well, and the thing about it is that people in the liberal media keep talking, well, President Trump said it was red infested, and et cetera. It is. Even their Congressman, Elijah Cummings, even the mayor admitted that Baltimore is rat infested. So it's racist when a white person says it, but it's okay when a black person says it. Stop. Baltimore has been controlled by Democrats for over 60 years, Zeb. Continuously run by liberal Democratic mayors, black and white. Baltimore, as it currently stands, has a black police chief, a black Congress, a black prosecuting attorney, a black mayor, majority black city council, black state rep. So where's the racism, Zeb?
Absolutely. You know, let me ask you, and again, you're the kind of a person that I know you're not going to hedge or give me any answer except honesty, but your thoughts about individuals that, to me, stir up more problems than they ever put away, like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and others. What are your thoughts about people of your race that seem to be stirring the pot all the time?
Well, yeah, what I find amazing about what you're asking me, Zeb, is who are the white leaders? Isn't it amazing when you watch the liberal media, they always say the black leader, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. So who are the white leaders? Who represents white folks? So why is it that the black community needs the media to appoint who are leaders? The leaders are the local preachers there that just preaches his congregation, goes by, visit those in the hospital, goes by and help those who need food, get them food, those who are coming out of prison, help them get jobs and get back on their feet. Those are the leaders in the black community. So these media-appointed leaders that you're talking about, Zeb, the Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, I have no idea who they are. I mean, as far as their standing within the black community, they represent their supporters and not the black community. And so that's a big difference.
We've got, Raynard, we've got a lot of problem with some background noise, and if you're on a speakerphone, could I have you disconnect that and just talk into the mouthpiece? I'm hearing a whole bunch of noise in the background. If you could help me, I'd appreciate it. And while doing that, we have a caller with a question for you. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Quickly, please.
Yeah, why does the media have to, like you're talking about, black and white? There was a headline, black man adopts 3 white boys. Why didn't it say loving man adopts 3 brothers?
That's a good point. Go ahead, Raynard.
Well, that's a heck of a point, and I agree with the caller. The person's race was of no consequence. He had love in his heart for these 3 kids and wanted to adopt them. So, to me, race should not even have been part of the story.
Absolutely. Caller, thank you for your question on that. That's very well stated. Raynard, as we draw closer and closer to the election in next year's 2020 race for the president, we're seeing so much garbage, and that's the word I'm going to use, that's being thrown out in front of the media to damn and condemn this administration. What are your thoughts? I wanted to ask you what you think is going on personally.
Well, this is all about the deep state, those career bureaucrats who think they are more important than a sitting president. They know the liberal elite, the liberal media, the globalists, they know they cannot beat Trump at the ballot box. They have to use external means to embarrass him, to sabotage him, to try to get him out of office, and they've already concluded that it won't take place at the ballot box. So what other things can we do to get him out of office? And that's what you're seeing playing out right now.
There is a cold beer and a big T-bone steak waiting for you whenever you get here, my friend. I can't wait to see you and meet you in person.
Well, then that's going to happen real soon. I'm working on that because I enjoy you guys, and plus I love being on in God's country in Idaho.
All right, sir. Raynard, I appreciate you being on the program and taking the time to discuss with me, and thank you so much. God's blessings to you.
Thank you too, Zeb.
God bless. Thank you. Raynard Jackson, and there's just nobody I've had on the air that is as straight across the board honest as he is, and talking about race relations, etc., across our country. And I'm just blessed to have him be a part of my program, and I thank him very, very much. Okay, I'm almost, Wheel says, almost on time for the weather this hour, and then we'll take some more of your phone calls. And by the way, to that caller, that lady that called in, that was a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Scarro's Meats brings us the weather this hour, and they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome. Easy to find, easy to get to. Call them on the landline, 324-7657, or to find out all about all the delicious meats available for you, go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Woo! I mean, all the delicious sausages and the bratwurst and the tri-tips and the bacons and all the list goes on and on. You're going to absolutely love it at Scarrow's Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this first official day of October, and it's going to be a little bit chilly in the morning. Maybe some patchy freezing fog before noon. However, we are expecting mostly sunny skies and a high of 52 for tonight. Mostly clear skies. Going to get cold again with a low of around 27. Tomorrow, sunny and with a high of 55. Expecting an overnight low of 30 by Thursday. More sunshine. Going to be the warmest day of the week so far. Expecting a high of 63. Then by Friday, mostly sunny, mid-50s. That's a look at your weather forecast for 7-3.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. And don't forget, their tagline is absolutely perfect. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrow's Meats. All right, your turn. Come on, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Kind of a scary little note this morning. I overheard a lady on TV early this morning saying there are only 85 shopping days left until Christmas. Wow, when you think about it, that's just right around the corner. Thanksgiving looming on the horizon with all the families getting together for Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's, and then a brand new year. Holy smokes, 85 shopping days left until Christmas. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. What did you think? And I'm going to ask this question. I know there's a lot of people out there that have varied opinions on this, but what did you think about the state of California and their governor, Gavin Newsom? They're going to be opening up a brand new can of worms and defying the NCAA and allowing California and its college athletes to hire agents and make money from endorsement deals, whether it's shoe companies or whether it's soft drink makers, car dealerships, whatever the case might be, just like the professionals. What do you think about this? There are absolutely two sides to this story about college athletes becoming basically paid professionals, which it would be. But on the other side of the coin, you have the argument, and I think it's a worthwhile argument, that the colleges and their athletic programs are making tons of money off of these college athletes for their ability to play the certain sport, be it football, basketball, whatever it might be. So these kids, a lot of times, and we've read these stories, have basically hardly any money in their pocket because of the very strict and stringent NCAA rulings on income or getting gratuities or whatever. And now, by opening up the door in California, saying this is a first-in-the-nation law that, again, was signed by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, that's going to take effect in 2023, which would allow athletes in college to go out and try to work up their own endorsement deals. What do you think about this? And there's also the other side of the coin that there are a lot of college athletes that are not in very visible sports, whether it's track and field or whether it might be the baseball team or whatever sport. How are they going to have a just compensation like the basketball and football players? And what about the awarding of scholarships? Are colleges and universities going to say, okay, if you're going to try to go out and make this kind of money on your own, being a representative for a car dealer, I'm not going to offer you, I'm being the college, I'm not going to offer you a scholarship to get an education. I mean, this is really a deep pool of water, and I'd like to hear what some of you have for thoughts on this. Some are real happy about it. I'm kind of on the fence on this thing. I don't know if we should see the elimination of the amateur athlete. And I'm not going to say or take a stand against the other side. I want to probe into it a lot further. But what are your thoughts about college athletes in California, not the other states, just California being able to go out and make their own endorsement deals and big, big money? What are your thoughts on that? Give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to give you a great big notice about the best in the West, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a great big fall tire sale. Big fall tire sale. You can save up to $152 on a set of 4 select light truck and SUV tires like the Terramax HT, the Backcountry Touring HT, and others. They, of course, at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers have been doing the right thing since 1952. I urge you to stop in and talk to them today, not only for the tires, but also the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning and thank you for your call.
Yeah, Zeb. in my eyes, that was always a separation between amateur players and pro. In pro, you can make money. In amateur or college, you're going out there to try to do the best you can. It meant more to them, where the pros have already made it. And I think if California starts letting these guys make money, I think what you're going to see is all the best high school players trying to get on those colleges.
I totally agree with your statement, and I've got one other little fly to put in the milk here. What about other schools that are playing those California universities? Those students are going to be at a disadvantage, and those students are honoring the rules and regulatory means of the NCAA, but the schools in California aren't. Are they going to, they being the NCAA, are they going to make the colleges and universities just compete among themselves?
Well, I think it's going to come down to the head board of the colleges and everything like that. As far as the games and everything, I think they can make them their own separate deal. Say, no, you're not playing our rules, you're not playing our game.
The only thing I would say, taking the devil's advocate real quick, is that you know as well as I do, and I was fairly close to this when I was in college, that students that are going there on scholarships playing major sports, sometimes they haven't got a dime in their pocket. There's got to be some way that the NCAA can loosen up some of the restrictions for some of these people to have some money to go buy a cheeseburger. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be some leniency someplace.
How did you make money when you were in college? I worked in the kitchen.
I worked at a magazine sales company, and about drove me crazy.
But that's what we did. We worked.
Absolutely. I respect your call. I wish I had longer to talk to you, but I'm out of time for today. But thank you. Thank you very much for your call. This is going to be an issue you're going to hear a lot more of. You're not going to hear less of it. You're going to hear a lot more of it. And many top pros right now are saying that it's high time that college athletes stop getting ripped off. But like I said, I'm on the fence on this thing. I want to lean more now towards having a continuation of amateur athletics and not professional funded sports in college. But we'll see what happens on this. I'm going to do some more research. We'll talk about it more in the future. I got to get out of here. The way things were or the way things ought to be. We say that every day at the end of our program. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 8:06, and we've got some great guests planned for tomorrow, including Governor Brad Little. All of this and more on the program. When we end it, we say, in God we trust, and we do. Zeb at the Ranch. See you tomorrow morning at 8:06.